Welcome to Epg Pathshala. My name is G. Mahendra Reddy. I am working as an assistant professor in tourism at National Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management, Hyderabad. Now we are going to discuss about a paper on tourism in India and the module on nature and ecotourism in India. The objective of the module is to know what is nature tourism, what is ecotourism, and is there any difference between eco and nature tourism, and what are the activities that involved during the nature or ecotourism trips, and what is the impact of nature tourism in our different communities or our destinations or our different stakeholders, and what are the principles that involved, like what are the important days like ecotourism day and all. Finally, you would like to go through the what are the major eco and nature tourism destinations in India with the popular attractions and activities and the location. So now we are going to discuss about the nature tourism, then the ecotourism. Ecotourism and nature tourism are synonymous words which are having the same principles and almost the same activities during the trip or during the tour for the visitors. So like different people have given different definitions, and the major definition generally we follow is TIES for ecotourism and Ceballos for nature tourism. And according to Ceballos, the nature tourism is defined as a responsible travel to natural areas which conserves the environment and improves the welfare of the local people. So that means nature tourism involves visiting natural areas, and that too responsible travel which should provide some benefits to the local people and to the nature. So that means there will be different impacts. So whatever the activity takes place during the trip, there will be some impacts that could be in a positive way or a negative way, depending on how we organize and plan and develop a tourism in a particular destination. So it is a tourism or a tour based on the natural attractions, and this could be the flora, fauna, or any biodiversity, and there will be different activities that tourists will involve during the nature tourism, or watching wildlife, watching a particular forest or a particular species, maybe involving in some kind of activities like bird watching or taking photographs, or maybe hunting maybe some limited areas in a responsible way, not as a negative way, and maybe camping and hiking, trekking. So these are the activities generally they take during the natural tourism sites in their visit. So now we are going to discuss about the ecotourism. And as we discussed earlier about nature tourism and ecotourism is having the common principles, but there will be some little difference. But nature tourism is a wider and ecotourism is limited to particular ecological or activities which are related to ecosystems, and this particular form of tourism very popular throughout the world. Even in India we got like a different flora, fauna, and blessed with many other like wildlife. So this particular form of tourism very popular in India, and there are many definitions which was given by like people like David Fennell and UNWTO and many other organizations. But in general we follow the popular definition which was given by the TIES. TIES is the International Ecotourism Society, an NGO working for the development and promotion of ecotourism in a responsible way. So they have given a definition that responsible travel to a natural areas that conserves the environment and improves the well-being of the local communities in a sustainable manner. So whatever the definition we followed in a nature tourism is almost same, but in this particular definition they have mentioned about the nature tourism along with the sustainable principles or responsible principles that will involve eco travel or eco tour. In this particular form of tourism, like throughout the world, many organizations, especially TIES, UNWTO, mention that this particular form of tourism should be in a responsible way, and that should give some sustainable socio-economic benefits to the local people while conserving the nature. So that means whenever you take a tour involved with this particular form of tourism, so the tourist will be involved in a different activities like watching wildlife, understanding the wildlife and interactions between wild and nature and humans and the local people and their socio-economic backgrounds and the situations. So in the process there should be some positive socio-economic and environmental impacts to the local community that should sustain for a long time. So that means whatever the trip you take, you should interact with the local people, you should buy the local products, you should conserve the nature. So these are the principles, so that we are going to discuss in detail in the next slide. As I mentioned that principles, whenever you take a tour, you should follow some responsible tourism principles during the ecotourism trip, so which was prescribed by different scholars and the organizations like TIES and UNWTO and like International Union for Conservation of Nature. So according to that, the principle is that it should minimize the negative impact and maximize the positive impacts both on the communities and the nature, and it should also build environmental and cultural awareness and respect. For example, whenever you visit a particular national park or a protected area or a forest areas, there will be some communities which are living within the destination, maybe a tribal or any indigenous group. So that means whenever you visit, you should provide some economic benefits to the local people and you should interact. Instead of staying in a star hotels, if you interact with the local people, if you buy something locally made handicrafts or something which is made by the local people, that will directly contribute to the local people, so that there will be some economic improvement and there will be understanding between the tourist and the host. The interaction will increase the respect between the host and the guest, and it should provide positive experience for both visitor and the host. For example, whenever you visit, let's say, any national park or a tiger reserves, if you visit tiger reserves, like in some like buffer area, there will be some communities which are living in tiger reserves. They are the people living from long time and they are not getting any economic benefit. Instead, they are asked to leave the destination because of whatever the protection region or whatever the legal procedures they have. So in this connection, we can also make some positive economic benefits to the local people by employing them in tourism services wherever it is required, so that there will be understanding between, like at the same time, if the tourist interacts with the local people, then there will be a pride, there will be a connection, and that will lead to the positive benefit both for the locals and the tourist. In a way, tourist will understand the community's problems and even their knowledge, whatever the positive is that they can learn. The local host can also learn from the tourist, whatever maybe a cultural exchange that is there that can be possible to happen. So the other principle is that should provide some financial benefit to the parks for the conservation. Maybe like if you visit any particular protected areas or national parks, if you give some amount of money in the form of entry ticket, so that will definitely contribute for the conservation of forest areas or a national park. For example, there are some national park which are charging nominal fees. There are some national parks which are charging very high. For example, Bandhavgarh National Park, Kanha National Parks, these are charging 3,000 to 4,000 rupees just for entry fees. So that means whatever the money is generated, that will be indirectly or directly converted for the conservation of the wildlife or the forest which is there in that particular national park. So that is one of the positive sign of the ecotourism, and it should also provide some benefits to the local people and empower. We have already discussed that whatever the interaction happens, whatever the products you buy from the local people, that is directly contributing for the income generation for the local people. And apart from that, even the other stakeholders like hotels and travel agents can also take help from the local people, since they are depending on those areas which are living these people for a long time. So if you provide in terms like semi-skilled or unskilled areas where they can work in a hotel areas and they can get some revenue or maybe employment generation, that is also one of the way that you can connect with the local people with the development of tourism. The other principle is that to raise a sensitivity to host communities and political, environmental, social climate. For example, nowadays if you see the global pressing issues like the climate change and the environmental degradation or land degradation or wildlife issues we are facing throughout the world, and even in India we are facing and we are witnessing one of the major issues when it comes to the conservation of nature. So in this connection we can make ecotourism as a tool to empower both the local people and the visitors and the other stakeholders like politicians and the governments. People who are visiting these areas, they can learn from the nature what exactly the nature is and what is the connection between the nature and humans and other biological systems and ecosystems, so that the students or the visitors who are visiting this particular areas can learn, can understand and appreciate the nature of that particular place, so that the people will involve in voluntary activities or maybe some other activities which will directly contribute for the conservation of nature. So with this concept we can say that tourism, especially ecotourism or nature tourism, can be used as a tool to empower the local communities, educate the visitors and the tourists, even the local communities, and provide economic benefits for the different stakeholders like the local people, the travel agents, the tour operator, and moreover it is also contributing for the nature conservation. However, if tourism is unplanned and not practiced in a sustainable way, will also lead for a negative consequences for a degradation of biodiversity and effects on wildlife. So these will be a negative impacts that we can overcome with a proper planning and implementation of whatever the mentioned principles that we have just now discussed. So with that concept, throughout the world every country is promoting, and even in India we are also promoting ecotourism as one of the niche tourism, because we are blessed with the natural beauty and having both the flora and fauna. So in a different regions like different places, north, northeast, south and central India, which is having unique value of biological like flora and fauna in a different ways. So with this concept throughout the world, all the countries and organizations have recognized that we should also celebrate this particular development. There are positive developments, at the same time there are negative consequences which also leading to disrupt the destination. So with that they have come up with the idea that they should promote this particular concept as a year, that is International Year of Ecotourism. So like the International Ecotourism Society, UNWTO and IUCN like International Union for Conservation of Nature, and the state parties and the tourism corporation all are involved in celebration of this particular concept with some certain principles that they should follow in this particular year in the future also. So with that, they have started like United Nations, they have designated the year 2002 as the International Year of Ecotourism through the United Nations Environmental Program and in conjunction with the United Nations World Tourism Organization. So in recognition of its growing importance to a sustainable development and the protection of environment. So the purpose of International Year of Ecotourism was to encourage and make a cooperation between the NGOs, the non-NGOs and the different stakeholders, while minimizing the negative impacts and maximizing the positive impacts. So we have discussed what exactly the nature and ecotourism, importance of nature and ecotourism, and why like what are the initiatives that they have taken internationally, like International Year of Ecotourism. So now we are going to discuss about eco and nature tourism in India. As I mentioned that India is blessed with rich natural and cultural features, and we have different regions like we have Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, and we have places like when it comes to state, the northeastern states, in central India. In South India we have Kerala, Tamil Nadu. In central India we have Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, which are having rich forest areas. At the same time, many tiger reserves which are having highest tigers in the world. So these all are the attractions for the tourists who are coming from the different parts of the world. So with that concept, every state has started promoting ecotourism. But when it comes to planned ecotourism, the Kerala was the first state. The Tennamala is a destination in Kerala, and it is a first planned ecotourism destination in the country to cater to the nature and eco travelers who are visiting those places. And the declaration of several wildlife areas, national parks, the protected areas, sanctuaries has also contributed for the development of eco and nature tourism in the country. So with that we got the wide variety of flora and fauna, so that we are protecting in the form of the sanctuaries, the tiger reserves and protected areas, national parks, or maybe a captive or like a zoo parks and all these things. In general, we have discussed what are the major eco-tourist areas in India and what are the major like rich biodiversity and all. So now we'll go in detail particular destinations. But we have more than 100 ecotourism destinations, but we are discussing only few destinations which are very important and which are very popular, visited by the tourists from different parts of the country and world. Now we are going to talk about the Sundarbans. Sundarbans is a national park and it is a tiger reserve which is located in the state of West Bengal. It is very popular for mangroves and tigers. So many tourists like to show interest to visit these places, especially for the mangroves and the tigers, which are very popular and which are having the highest numbers. Apart from tigers, it is also home for many other wild species which are very close to extinction. And the other popular wildlife national park is Kanchenjunga National Park. It is located in the state of Sikkim, and this particular reserves or this particular area covers an area of 1784 square kilometers. It is a high altitude national park located in the state of Sikkim. The very popular flora and fauna includes medicinal plants, animals, birds at a different altitudes. Like the popular animals or a biodiversity is that leopard, Himalayan tahr, wild dog, Himalayan black bear and red panda. So these are very popular animals that we can see in this particular national park. And this particular park is very interesting and can serve for the wildlife enthusiasts who can enjoy the wildlife along with the nature. It is also having very rich ecosystem which includes many glaciers and waterfalls, lakes, streams. So these all are also adding value to this wildlife and made up become one of the best ecotourism destinations in the state of Sikkim. And the other very popular national park in the state of Assam is Majuli. It is one of the largest river island in the world, and it is located in the Brahmaputra river at a distance of 20 kilometers from Jorhat in Assam. And it is also home for many migratory species, especially the birds, and inhabited by the dairies, snow alkacharis, and it is also having the missing tribes. Majuli represents one of the unique ecosystem. It is basically because of its fertile land and provides a rich base for agriculture practices, and it is very popular tradition that they are following the sustainable agriculture, and with many like wide variety, like hundreds of different of rice they grown in this particular area, and that too without pesticides in organic like best example we can say that the organic farming that they are following in this particular area. And this particular area is popular for especially the lake tourism and wildlife and all like other different flora and fauna. This is visited by especially the wildlife and the nature enthusiasts throughout the year. And the other popular national park in the northeast region is Malinang, and it is very popular national park located in the hills of Meghalaya, and this is a village and it is one of the popular throughout the world because of its cleanliness, and it is considered to be the Asia's one of the cleanest villages. And this village is surrounded by the abundant natural beauty which is attracting large number of tourists. This particular village community, they are diversifying whatever the income that they have generated through tourism for different activities like cleanliness program of the village and conservation of the flora and fauna which are surrounded by that particular village. And they are also providing different types of accommodations for the different tourists, and especially the village tourism like which is reflecting the culture of village rural area is very popular, and they are providing the hospitality, the rooms or the guest house in a way that reflects the culture of the village life. Apart from that, there are like other tented accommodations and all this they are providing for the tourist. And this location or this place is close to Guwahati airport, and there are many other like road transport systems which are connecting to this place. And the other popular tourist destination when it comes to ecotourism in the northeastern state is Jostoma in Kohima. So this is a remote village located in the indigenous territory of Nagaland. So it is very popular for the tribals. It is also considered as the best ecotourism destination in the northeast region, which is having the abundant natural beauty, and it is close to the state capital Impal, and it is having a rich biodiversity which is having a unique ecosystem, diversified ecosystem. Is mostly inhabited by the tribal settlements. It is also very popular for bird watching tourism, and you can see the location of this particular place in the northeast in the picture which is there on the slide. The other very popular ecotourism destination is Jaintia Hills. It is also in the region of northeast in Meghalaya, and this is also very popular tribal tourism destinations which are very popular for Jaintia tribes, and it is bestowed by the nature with plenty full of rain falling and green surroundings, which is having the rivers and waterfalls. So these are very popular products for the tourists which can see and enjoy in this particular area. And this particular Jaintia Hills displays some of the most alluring sights of Meghalaya. The beauty around the hill district is a unforgettable aesthetic feast to the visitors who are visiting this particular place. The other popular tourist destination again in the northeastern state is that Mokokuchang, which is very popular for the Evo tribes. This place is known for its best hospitality with rich traditions of fairs and festivals which represent the local culture, and this is visited by the people who are interested in nature and culture along with the tribal culture. They are also enjoying with the cultural activities, the fairs and festivals of that particular place. That you can see the location and the natural beauty with the hill stations in the northeast region with the location of map. And the other natural heritage site which is very popular ecotourism site in northeastern state again, that is Oka. It is there in the state of Nagaland, and it is dotted with the colorful orchards, multi-hued flowers, hills and rivers. It is also one of the best and preferred tourist destination in the region of northeast. It is also land of Lotha tribes, and one has wonderful opportunity there to interact with the tribal people and see the tribal arts, crafts, heritage and their regular activities which showcase their culture. And we have discussed all about the northeastern state. Again, the other northeast very popular tourist destination is that Namadapa National Park. It is also very popular eco and nature tourism destination which is located in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. It is widely known for the housing 4 kinds of wild cats: the common Indian leopard, snow leopard, clouded leopard and tiger. So these are different cats that we can see in this particular national park. The vast ecosystem comprising of an extensive montane forest and dotted with the several species of plants, diversified landscape at a different altitude that ranges from an elevation of 500 meters to 4,000 meters. These tourists who are visiting this place can stay at tented accommodations, that the location you can see in the map. So the other very popular ecotourism destination which is also World Heritage Site, we have discussed in other module on World Heritage Sites. So that is Nanda Devi Valley of Flowers or Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve, which is located in the state of Uttarakhand. It is very well known for the natural beauty and the aesthetic beauty of different species which is having different flowers, and this particular forest is having more than 600 different species of flowering plants and also medicinal plants which is having highly value. It is also a place for endemic Himalayan animals, and the birds attracts large number of wildlife tourists to this particular area. The other very popular tourist destination when it comes to the wildlife and nature is that Jim Corbett National Park, which is located in Uttarakhand. This is also one of the oldest national park in the country, and this national park is home to the tigers and host of the other wild animals including elephants, barking deers, samba and other bird species as well. And it is located in the footfalls or foothills of the Himalaya, and Jim Corbett National Park is a flourishing place for the flora and fauna and is also home for more than 110 different species of the plants, 50 species of animals and 500 species of birds, making it is as a perfect destination for ecotourism and the wildlife tourism travelers. Somori Wetland Conservation Reserve is also one of the best tourist place in the northeastern region, is there in the Ladakh. This is attracting especially the natural lovers which is having the natural areas like the lakes and different water system which gives a feel of a different the nature. It is similar to the other states like the border states of China and the other South and Southeast Asian countries. So we have discussed all the different ecotourism destinations which are natural. Along with that, we have many other zoo parks and other museums which are having the rich natural diversity that they are showcasing in the form of museums and zoos. So we are not going to discuss in detail or everything about these places except Chennai Crocodile Bank, and this is very popular crocodile bank in the state of Tamil Nadu, which is located or close to Chennai. It is around 40 kilometers from Chennai, and it is shelter for 7 species of crocodiles, occupies an area of 3.2 hectares, and it is also one of the largest crocodile breeding center in the country. And Gir National Park, it is one of the popular national park for the lions still surviving in the state of Gujarat. This particular park is visited by the wildlife tourists from different parts of the world. And apart from these national parks and the hill stations, Kerala is also popular for the different backwaters. And the backwaters of Kerala present a breathtaking experience to the eco-tourist. The sight of the place while cruising on a backwaters leaves tourists spellbound. In the midst of the paddy fields and lush green palm grove, these backwaters has its own gentle rhythm carved out from the rivers which flow down from the Western Ghats to the coast. And this is one of the very popular form of tourism, that is backwater tourism in the country, in fact in the world. So the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are also quite popular for the tourists that seek beach destinations, and the scenic beaches make this particular place attractive for natural lovers. The marine life in deep waters of the Bay of Bengal enthralls the tourist, also the fresh and clean environment. The island is covered by the dense jungle forest and offered plenty of adventure activities to the visitors who are visiting this particular place. Coorg, of course, one of the best places to visit in the South India. Coorg is located in the state of Karnataka, and it is also very popular for a different wild species and the flora and fauna, and it has flourished as a best ecotourism destination in India that is located on the Western Ghats, comprising 3 wildlife sanctuaries and national parks like Brahmagiri, Talakaveri and Pushpagiri wildlife sanctuaries, along with the Nagarhoil National Park. Munnar is also one of the best ecotourism destination in the state of Kerala in South India. It is located at an elevation of 1700 meters and is a small yet picturesque hill town in the Idukki district of Kerala in the Western Ghats. Munnar is also home for several protected areas or protected animals that house for many threatened and endemic species. So we have discussed all different eco and natural tourism destinations. Now I would like to summarize this module that nature and ecotourism is one of the popular form of tourism throughout the world. India is also home for a very rich biodiversity, so that India is attracting many natural tourists, and nature tourism, ecotourism is also having the similarities, and it is also synonymous for their activities and the principles. And ecotourism appeals to the wide range of travelers of all age groups and different demographic profiles, and this appeals to be responsible and sustainable while taking this particular form of tourism. So with this growing demand throughout the world, especially UNWTO and UNDP and other United Nations has recognized that the special year, that is International Year of Ecotourism in the year 2002, for the positive development, that is to improve the socio-economic benefits in a more positive way while minimizing the negative impacts of tourism in a particular destination or throughout the world where the ecotourism and nature tourism is practiced. So with this, I would like to close up by suggesting you to go through the different materials like we have mentioned in a quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 about internet resources and the bibliographic resources for more information on ecotourism and ecotourism destinations in India. Thank you.